Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Talent Tech 2. We're going to talk about how you get started with talent. But first and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Mark Lang. I'm an ELT consultant based here in Italy for Cambridge University Press. So the idea today is to spend 30 to 40 minutes together, maybe a little bit more, with regard to the new exciting product that Cambridge University Press has produced this year for the Italian secondary school market, which is called Talent. So first and foremost, let's have a quick overview. Okay, so let me just load that slide for you. Okay, here we go. So as you can see by this particular slide, as I mentioned, Talent is a new product for the Italian market. We're very excited about this product and we hope you are too, but there's some key points that I want to draw to your attention. The key features of Talent are that we have included exams. Okay, you'd expect this from Cambridge, but we've included it in this product in the sense that this is actually unique, that it prepares you for four exams: the preliminary, the IGCSE, the first, and IELTS. Obviously part of the Cambridge exam suite, but they are inclusive. We'll talk about how they're included a little later. We've also had a good degree of focus and a good demonstration of the academic and life skills which have been included in Talent. And also something we are very excited about is changing language for a changing world. This is something that you will see within the content of each volume of Talent with regard to the evolution of language, how and why it changes, and a breakdown of the reasons perhaps behind it. So there's some science there too. So moving forward, what is Talent? Well, let's look at it from the student's perspective first and foremost. 3-volume series kicks off at level A2B1, which you can see here is the pale green. I'm always going to go left to right, okay? So the pale green cover is A2B1. The blue cover that you can see between the other two is a B1 plus level. And lastly, we have the mauve or purple color, which is the B2. So 3 volumes in total. You'll also notice there's another book with the blue cover. This is a companion to volume 2, which is the foundation. So in the event that you have students who are nearly there, need a little push, this is a bridge, a stepping stone to get them up to a level which allows them to enter volume 2. You'll also notice on this slide that we draw reference to ebook and we draw reference to Talent app, something we'll talk about a little later. Now obviously that's for the student. The student workbook is combined and there is an e-version of this product too. What about you? Okay, well you guys are the teachers. For us, we're very excited about this product. We hope you are too. We feel this is a great book and we do feel obviously that you're great teachers too, and the combination of such makes a fantastic lesson. But what we've tried to do is give you all the resources you need to move you through those lessons, to support you, to give you the resources to make those lessons fantastic. So great book, great teacher, good combination. So what should you have? Well, if you've got the books in your hand, your agents have brought these books to you, to your school, if you've got the books with you right now, you will look at the covers, you'll see that there's a dedicated teacher book per volume, okay, there's a test per level. We have the audio CD and the test CDs. Now, we also offer these in MP3 download, but we do offer the fixed state media, so the CDs are there for you to use. The DVD-ROM, quite important this one, this is the version of the ebook which you can use in class for heads-up teaching, for use with your classroom, for flipped classroom exercises. It's available for use offline. Okay, so you can use this in your class without the necessity to connect to the internet. Additional resources, well, we've provided a rich bank of resources for you to utilize. They can be found on Imparasol Web, again a site we're going to talk about a little later, and some audio files that you can download if you feel you don't need to use the test CD. So what we've mentioned, the student book, 3 volumes, complementary teacher volumes per level, tests, audio CDs, test CDs, DVD-ROM, offline capabilities there, additional resources for download from Eparos to the web. Take a few minutes to look at the screen, okay? Do you have these things, okay? If you don't, please contact your agent, who'll be very happy to supply you with the resources that you need to make your fantastic lessons. So, the contents of such, the teacher's book is going to give you the ability to teach parallel courses in the sense of inclusive teaching. Inclusive teaching, what do we mean? We're suggesting, no, we're not suggesting, we're making this a point that Talent in the standard edition in all volumes is inclusive teaching, didactic inclusiva, in the sense that everybody, all of your students, has the ability to learn through this book. So there's some compensation within this book to allow learners who may have some different learning patterns, be them DSA or BES, to be included and to enjoy the benefits of the standard student book. For those that learn in a slightly different way, we have dedicated versions, which we'll highlight in a second. The teacher's book gives you a rich bank of resources for you to use, ideas, suggestions for your lessons, but also for flipping the classroom. Okay, you want to give a great lesson, you want those heads up away from the books just for a few minutes. We've got some tests, some ideas, some examples, some suggestions. Use the book. We've thought about this. We've given you, let's say, a wealth of resources for you to use. Take what you need, use what you need, but it's there, okay? Within the teacher books and the test books, we've got grammar tests with file A and file B, dedicated versions for DSA, vocab tests, same thing applies. Skills test, again, dedicated versions for DSA. We've got the grammar tests, revision exercises, and extension activities for every unit, along with revise and roundup. I'll draw reference to those in a moment. The important thing I mentioned in the beginning is that Cambridge obviously is famous for exams, and Talent is part of the official portfolio of material. Cambridge material is official material for exams. And within Talent, we have the practice tests. Okay, so we've got 4 official Cambridge preliminary B1 tests, 3 official IGCSEs, 2 for the B2 first, and 1 for IELTS. So Talent is giving you a lot of things. Okay, it's giving you the ability for the changing language, focus on skills, and also these exams is standard. So it's unique at the moment in that regard. So it brings people into the idea of the Cambridge family and the exams that we have, to give them an idea of the exam process, the structure, to make them aware of what we do. We spoke about tests, we spoke about exams. Well, we thought about that too. So we've got a dedicated additional book, which runs in tandem with the 3rd volume of Talent, the B2 level, where you can focus on exam skills for the B2 first. Again, it's validated material for the B2 first exam. So when your students are preparing and they come to leave the time with you, they're moving towards B2, they are at B2, they've got an idea of what the first exam is and how they can approach it. In Valsi. Obviously, Valsi will, for some of you, be active next year, in 2019, in the early part, around Easter. The material that we produce is always post-viewer information, so we don't hypothetically guess what might be the case. We produce material based on fact, and on the basis of the fact, our material is up to date. We have 6 guided tests, and we have the 4 complete computer tests online. As you will know, Valsi is an online test, a benchmark test for 2 key skills, listening and reading, and with the use of English. The product has been adapted for the 2019 Valsi for the 5th year at high school and is up to date based on the information right now. We spoke about DSA and BES, those learners who approach learning in a slightly different way. They have different needs, they have different ways of learning. If that's the case, we've thought about that. Okay, the standard edition of Talent is fully inclusive, so it is compensated for all learners. But maybe there's a learner who needs slightly different direction. You need to facilitate classroom management. Okay, there are 3 dedicated versions of the 3 volumes of Talent of the student book for you to use in class. Slightly different with the reverse of the colors, but they are there for you to use. Okay. So let's talk about Talent. Let's talk about what's in the book, what you can find, what you need to know, and how perhaps you need to approach it. So first and foremost, Each volume, 3 volumes in total, has a starter. Okay, when we say starter, 5 lessons dedicated to warming the student, type of revision exercise. I'm sure your students have been away from the classroom, they're coming back into the classroom, they're a little rusty. You want to get them back up to speed quickly. Okay, use the 5 lesson starter units per volume of Talent to revise the basic language structure, to get them back on the pace, to get them back up to speed, to get them learning. Nice little bit of grammar focus here, but it's designed to move through relatively quickly. Moving through to additional grammar resources, we have in this particular unit and every unit a presentation, a video or a presentation that introduces what's going to happen in this unit, a full video. Okay, it's going to introduce the grammar, the themes, the vocab, the arguments, and also to give an idea of the skills and competences that will be looked at in this unit and each and every unit. As you can see here on the right hand side, again I'm moving left to right. The grammar boxes are clear and concise, they're bold, they're completed. It's there as a reference tool and can be expanded upon in the grammar reference in the workbook, which we'll look at in just a second. But it's there per unit, it's there to be drawn attention to and will appear in each and every unit. We spoke about the expansion. Okay, the workbook sits after the student book finishes towards the back of the book, but every unit of the workbook contains 3 pages of additional grammar exercise. There's lots of grammar in Talent. Please use it because this is something we get feedback from regularly, that we like to see lots of grammar. This is what Italian teachers tell us. We've reacted to this information. Bear in mind when I said Talent is an Italian product for the Italian market. Italian teachers have contributed to making this product the way it is right now. So there's lots and lots of grammar practice. In regard to how we approach reinforcing the language, at the end of every second chapter of the student book, we're going to have a focus on revise and roundup. What do we mean? This is where we physically reinforce the learning thus far. So at the end of every unit, you have a good idea that your students, you as teachers, are all moving in the same direction at the right pace. And the exercises here reflect the 2 units before to really bring home the language they've learned so far. In addition, grammar reference, mind maps, grammar tables, these are incredibly important. They're clear and concise explanations of the rules that we can see clear, and some people can see even better through the conceptual mind maps. We talked about the inclusivity. As you'll notice from the mind map here, we can see an overview of the formation of the structure, present simple in this sense. And we also look at the usage. We also notice the color coordination here. Why do we do that? Some people visualize, and some people are visual learners, and by following a key color code, it's sometimes easier for them to understand and comprehend what they're learning. So the grammar maps, we feel, are incredibly important, and it was something that we introduced to the market through one of our other products, Make It, and it's something that we're including in our products from here on in because we see them as an incredibly valuable resource that both students and teachers react to incredibly well. The all-important verb tables, as you can see here on the left-hand side, we've broken down the verbs right the way through, and on the right-hand side, those horrible irregular verbs, the extensive list, which in every language is difficult, and English is no different. If we look at the key components, as you'd expect, reading skills, writing skills, listening skills, and speaking skills are an integral part, along with grammar, vocabulary within Talent. If we look here, we've highlighted a lead-in with reading skills. We're trying to introduce rich, interesting, on-target reading exercises that will stimulate the students, that will captivate their attention, will encourage them to think, okay, what would I do in this situation, or what would I have done? On that basis, it could be controversial. It could be that, you know, you can introduce this post in the sense of a critical thinking exercise to summarize, utilize classroom discussion, to look at this exercise in 2 ways, as a reading exercise and with the ability to summarize and reflect in critical thinking. This is something that's growing and something that students really, really enjoy. On the right hand side of the page, we've got writing skills. Okay, we've got sections dedicated to specific strategies. And these all link to writing expansion. Where do we find writing expansion? We find that at the back of the book, in the workbook. We've got a good number of exercises. And as we've highlighted on the next slide, it's very, very important that the writing expansion is there because students struggle. All students in all languages find writing difficult. And from a perspective, we've looked at this to say, okay, what tools can we give to you, the teacher, and what help can we give to the student? We try and look at this in a way that helps you both, and we have done. So we've given clear and efficient exercises and tests to make the best of the ability and to improve that ability in a very difficult discipline, which is writing. We hope you're going to like that because we spent a lot of time and thought with regard to editorial on this. Listening skills, they're all important listening skills. If you look at the red box, within the red box, there's a mauve box, okay? What does the mauve box do? Well, it's a strategy box, and I will talk about that in a second, but let's just concentrate on listening. Listening exercises are integral to any lesson. It's where the students have exposure to spoken English in this sense. And what we've tried to do and what we have done is create an expansive listening with a variety of different types of tracks, a variety of different types of voices, and a variety of different types of accents, because we live in a global world now. Your students are exposed to YouTube like we are now, Netflix, to different types of English spoken from different parts of the world, be it native, non-native, and it's very useful for them to be able to react and understand different types of voices, different speeds, different intonations, different accents. So we've included that in the listening exercises. I mentioned the strategy boxes. Now, what do I mean by strategy boxes? These are key focus areas in talent. You're going to find them everywhere, okay, where we have made a point of drawing your attention to a strategy, an exercise, which is reflected in one of the key exams I mentioned before, preliminary, IGCSE, FIRST, and IELTS. This is a focus, okay? This is a strategy towards the approach to that key exam at that key point in the unit. And you will find this throughout all volumes and throughout all elements of the 4 key skills. On the right hand side, we are highlighting exam skills. Okay, now exam skills are where we're going to concentrate on Cambridge exams. Obviously, Cambridge are very well known for the exams we provide and the proficiency exams thereafter. From a point of view here, as I mentioned before, the 4 key exams we'll be focusing on, there will be exam skills deeply ingrained into talent. How often do they appear? Well, from a revision perspective, we're looking at revise and round up every 2 units where we reinforce the language that's been learned in the previous unit, but also we're focusing on exam revision. So every 2 units you're going to find some key focus, some key practice, some key reinforcement, some key preparation. We want to make sure that at every stage of the learning pattern, you and your students are moving together. So revise and round up, exam revision, every 2 units. What about video? Well, video, we have a lot. Okay, the feedback we've received suggests that video is an integral part of teaching, and we've included a lot. The presentation videos will sit at the beginning of each unit, where the presentation will allow us to understand what's coming in the unit, what key vocab, what key grammar point, what key skills, maybe what even exam we're going to prepare towards. So the presentation video is there to set up that lesson. Is that the only type of video we have? No, we have different types of video. As you can see on the left-hand side, I'm always moving left to right, the functional language videos. We're going to see 2 examples of these, or parts of the examples, when I introduce the digital side of things. But the presentation videos are there to provide a realistic interpretation of a conversation between native speakers in a relaxed, realistic manner. We hope you find that the same. They're fun, they're engaging, and they're targeted well towards your students. On the right hand side, we're emphasizing changing language. What do we mean by changing language? Well, changing language is a key part of talent, and it's a focus on alternating units with sounds of English, which is pronunciation. We will see a video on this a little later, but the corpus is one of the departments of Cambridge which focuses on a database of many words, millions of words. And it talks about the evolution, why we use them, why they change, why they fall out of use. And that type of video, again, I will show you, will explain and educate, but also it's fun to learn about why we say things the way we do in certain ways. And equally, we have in this particular image, you can see at the bottom, we have the guy on the right is Giuseppe. He's an Italian guy. Remember what I said? This is an Italian-based product who's exploring London, speaking to native speakers about the key focus from the previous part of the Changing Language video. Vocab. Vocab is very important. It's the building blocks of the language we use, but it's important to understand and use keywords. Keywords that you're going to use in a realistic context. And we have introduced exercises that reflect this to make the process of memorizing those words effective and so that they sit clearly in the student's mind. So the keywords, they're focused, they're on target, and they're realistic. How do we make that better? Well, we've got some vocabulary extensions. These are structured exercises with supporting conceptual mind maps. They're organized in a way that new words can be absorbed and built upon. Infographics there will help, the exercises will help, but we want the students to grow. You want the students to grow, and they want to grow. Let's give them the tools to do it. Life skills. Well, life skills are important. You're going to see the strategy boxes for life skills and academic skills. Academic we'll talk about in a second, but life skills, the competencies, okay, is about being able to develop better awareness of the world around you, to become a better citizen, to become more worldly, to be more aware, to grow. About learning and learning for the duration of your life. So the 21st century skills, the key competencies have a key point and a key use in talent. The academic side of things leans towards, let's say, the interpretation of a pie chart, a graph, production of a CV, analytical data, but skills that may be very, very important post-talent. Now, when I say post-talent, I mean that it's a point where the students are going on a learning journey. They're going to travel through the schooling system, and maybe their next step will be university, and that won't necessarily be in Italy. It could be in Italy, but maybe they will be taking a course in Italy in English, or a course in an Anglo-Saxon country or Northern Europe where English is the key language of instruction. It's quite probable that they will need an IELTS score in order to prove the level of English for them to be accepted onto that course. Why have we done this? It's about the journey. It's about growing. So Cambridge's idea is that you join us and we accompany you on the journey of growth, and with support from our exams. If we wanted to approach IELTS, what we've done is we've already prepared them for the structure of the exam. They know what to expect. We're taking away a fear of the exam on the day. So academic skills are a key focus, again, that leans towards IELTS. Literature. Well, we have literature, focuses on the 4 key skills to create critical thinking, to stimulate classroom discussion, focus on some key competencies, along with the Common European Common Framework for Life Competencies and the European Key Competencies. Equally, a very good section for research products, specific type of material for reading, and a little bit of reflective critical thinking exercise. CLIL, it's there too, reflects the subject studied in the national curriculum, obviously in English, and can be encouraged towards critical thinking and research products to explore real-life topics for in-depth discussion, for realistic outcomes, for stimulation here too. So, that's the book. You should have the book. Okay, if you haven't started using it, look forward to it. It's going to be good. If you started to use it, start to explore, feel around the key points I've raised, the exams, the skills, life in academic and changing language. What we're going to look at now is not the hard copy of the book, not the 3 volumes that you have as a teacher or the student has in front of them, but the digital side of things. So what do we offer? Well, there's an ebook, a digital version of the book for teachers and students. We have the Talent app. We'll talk about that just a little bit later. Additional resources from Empower Web and audio files that you can download. Now, Empower Web may be a site you're unaware of, But Imparso Web is from Loscio Editorial, distributor here in Italy. Have a look at the screen right now, because this is where you will access digital material. So first things first, if you've got the book in front of you, open it, okay, and open just the front cover, okay. Inside the front cover, you're going to find information, okay. At the top of the page, you're going to find a silver box. You don't have to do it now, but in time. Scratch it off, okay, use a key or a coin, and you will reveal a code. Now, what do we do with that code? Wait, nothing for a moment. First things first, what we need to do is make an account. We need to register on Imparso Web, which we'll do on the right-hand side. If, however, you've been using products from Cambridge or other Loscio products in the past, you may already have an account. So two options, register or log in. At which point you will see a screen that looks something like this. And what we're talking about here today is Talent, which is a Cambridge University Press product, Entra. At which point we will search for our title. As we can see on here is an alternative title, but we'll look to unlock that title. So how do we do that? Two ways. We could do it through an ISBN, but in this instance we're not going to do that. We're going to use the code you've just scratched off with your coin or your key, and at this point we're going to insert that code and we're going to reveal the book. Now the book, as long as you register as a teacher, will give you all the expansion online, audio zips, answer keys. But this is the point where I must draw your attention to something very important. When you register with Imparso Web, it's very, very important that you remember the email address you use and the password that you use. Why do I say that? Because of this. On screen now, you can see that you, by downloading the book, are being redirected to an alternative site called Be Smart. This is where you can visualize or download to the app for tablet, etc., as you can see on screen. But you must use the same credentials that you use for Imparso Web so the two sites can talk to each other. Okay, please remember this. When you create the account for Imparso Web, remember the login details, because when you scrape off that code and you have two different logins, you will not find your book. So let's assume you've registered, you scratched off your code, you're directed to Be Smart. You'll see a screen that looks like this one. Register or log in, depending on where you are. At which point, very simply, password and email address. And if you've created the same account with the same login details, you will see a screen that looks something like this one. As you can see, Alessandro has 42 books in his library, and he's maybe using the app too. But this is where your digital material sits. Okay, so if you need to access it, this is where you need to go. Your profile is here, your books are here, your account details are here. This is where your digital books, your digital talent copy will sit. So login details must be the same. Okay. In the event that you're walking through, you may need to update your PC or your laptop to the most up-to-date files for Adobe, or maybe to download Be Smart to your app. It depends where you are, but you will need to install maybe some third-party software just to pull that down so you can visualize the book. You'll see a screen maybe like this one, depending if you're if you're a Mac, an Apple user, or a Windows user, and maybe a screen like this one. But follow the instructions, nice and simple, nothing difficult here, okay? Pull it down, and at which point we should be able to log in. Remember, your password and your email address must be the same as Imparso Web, at which point you should accept, log in, and see a screen that looks like this one. This is where you will see the books that you have, the instruments, the resources, and some useful sites that you may want to visit, be it social media or links that have been added that have relevance, TED Talks, for example. So, what we've talked about so far is Talent, the hard copy, the component parts, how we get from the hard copy to the digital copy. Let's have a look at the digital version now. So we'll load up a copy of Talent, which you should see on screen right now. I'm just waiting for that to load on my screen. Just bear with me just a second. And there we are. Okay, now what we can see here is a direct representation of Talent Volume 1. Doesn't matter what the volume is, All of the volumes come in digital format, all have the same process. So, okay, we've got the book in front of us. It's a direct representation of the book, but we're looking at this from a teacher perspective. So how can you use this book? Well, first and foremost, if we come over here, we've got the cover. If we go to the right, there's an arrow that points to the right-hand side. Let's start thumbing through the book. Okay, we wait for it to load. And as we can see, it's loading up now. So we have a situation here where we can look at the double page spread. Okay, again, loading the screen as we see. So welcome to Talent. This is what we're doing today. Okay, we've got the grammar, the skills, the video, the exams, the academic and life skills, the vocab, the CLIL, the literature. The grammar sits in the units, the starters at the beginning of the book, the skills are peppered throughout, the videos are right the way through all units, exams, every 2 units, revise and round up every 2 units, academic skills, life skills, alternate, CLIL, literature, and the grammar maps and the word lists all sit at the back of the book. Okay, so this gives you a visualization of what we've got, and then we can come across to the contents page. 10 units in total, reflecting with a revise and roundup and exam strategy or exam practice every 2 units, breaking down the 4 key skills, the grammar focus, changing language, sounds of English, life skills and academic skills. Okay, so we know what's in the book, but this is not the most effective way of navigating this book. It's too slow. So let's come down here on the left-hand side for something super easy, where we physically can navigate the book as and when we want to, anywhere we like. So we can go from free time if we want to, and then we can jump into happiness. A good place to jump as far as I'm concerned. This is the workbook we're looking at here, but if we wanted to go to the unit for happiness, all we need to do is navigate back up to happiness, and away we go from there. So nice and simple, nice and quick, very, very simple. Use the contents page. If you want to flip through, please do, but there's a quicker and more efficient way of doing it. What can we do with the book? Well, they've got some tools down here at the bottom. You can see first and foremost we have a pencil. Okay, with this pencil we can annotate this book, we can scribble as we see fit. A marker pen will do the same thing. Maybe you want to highlight something, draw reference to it. Let's point an arrow at it. Okay, so 2 useful tools. Maybe we want to play with some shapes. Okay, we drop a shape on here, maybe to highlight the word happy teens. Also, we can use a different shape here, and why not change the color? Okay, we change the color to black. Perhaps if we were to just drop that on. Oh, what have we done? Well, we've obscured part of the book here. Now, you might think, why did he do that? Well, if you have a revision exercise and you want to reflect on something before you're introducing something that's linked to what you previously taught, you might want to block something out on the book so your students can't see immediately what you're trying to do. Okay, we've made a real mess of this book. Well, let's tidy it up. What we're going to do is wipe it clean, okay, back to where we were before. So nice and easy there. We've got a little plus symbol here, okay. What we can do is we can do many things. We can add a point, a note, we can type something on it, and we can save it, okay. Maybe you want to come back to that later. Maybe it's something that you've seen in the book. You think, oh, I'm going to draw reference to that. And we can store that now. Maybe we want to get rid of it. So we can just delete it from our page. Maybe there's something in the book that we think, okay, that might be worth keeping. And we'll cut that out of the book. Something maybe like this. And we can cut that page and store that for future reference. Boom, boom, boom. As you can see, we cut that out and we've stored that there. Okay. So come back to the book. So we've added the point, and what else can we do? We can upload a file. We could add a link to a website. Maybe we'd also like to add a vocal note. If you have a microphone, you can add a point of reference here. Maybe it's a pronunciation exercise. Maybe you had the ability of a native English speaker with you. Think, okay, how would a native English speaker approach this particular chapter with the pronunciation of happiness to emphasize the H? Well, record it. You can draw reference to this in the future. We can also look at at, excuse me, I will just go back. We can also look at the last symbol here on the map. We can make a grammar map or a mind map, a conceptual mind map. And I'm not going to produce one now for you, but just to give you an idea of how it works, we can drag a little box from here and we can type test from here to add some text. Oops, just let me go back again. Sorry, I'm going to the wrong box. I need to go to the plus sign. Let's go back to there. Okay, so we can create some shapes, we can draw some lines, we can move it around. I need to add another shape here. So if we wanted to, we would drop another shape onto here and we could link them together like so. And we can gradually start to build a grammar mind map, or you can use this for brainstorming. It's a tool that's there for you to use. We can make arrows appear, etc. We can change the colors, but the idea here is that it's a visual tool which you can use in class, relatively simple to use, to emphasize the key area you're looking to study on. Okay, we have an option here to zoom in and out of the book. So we want to go into detail on screen. Okay, we can do that. Okay, with a very simple exercise here. If we want to move the page around, we can drop onto the hand icon and pull the screen around as we see fit. Okay. There's one icon I didn't show you, which is this one. Okay, this one is the drawer, the cassette, the reference library, whatever you want to call it. But this is where your materials sit in respect of teaching with regard to the interactive whiteboard. So if we look here at extra materials, we can see that the extra materials that you find in your teacher book are all included here. Grammar maps, vocab maps, working World Bank. All of the elements that will help you and your resources to move forward in the classroom are here. Okay, different types. Well, if you want to navigate quickly and draw reference to picking up on some audio from the book, okay, you can find that very quickly by the exercise numbers and the page numbers. Okay, so nice and simple there. If you wanted to do the same with video, which we will look at in a second, you can do the same. Maybe you want to explore some links. We talked about Parallel Web earlier. We also talked about YouTube. You're here, okay? How did you find it? Well, through the Cambridge University Press YouTube channel. There are other resources that you can pick and use here, okay? What else can we do? Well, the video I do want to show you, okay, because the video is important. Jump too far. Okay, so we looked at changing language, okay? We mentioned changing. So I'm just going to let this play for a second, and I'm going to introduce you to Olivia Coleman. Now, Olivia Coleman is a researcher in Cambridge whose job is to work within the Cambridge corpus to analyse and understand how and why language changes. So let's just listen and watch together.
Changing Language is a series of videos using Cambridge English corpus data to look into how English is changing and evolving.
Thank you, Olivia, because you've said it better than I could. These videos are set up in a certain way based on the fact that Olivia has just explained. Just bear in mind that we can take away the caption. But let's listen just a little bit more.
Written data comes from newspapers, magazines, novels, letters, emails, textbooks, websites, and more. Spoken data is taken from everyday conversations, telephone calls, radio broadcasts, business meetings, presentations, speeches, and even university lectures. The Cambridge English corpus is the largest corpus of its kind in the world, and it provides an accurate picture of how we actually use English today. By comparing corpus data over the years, we can also see how language is changing. We can see which words are becoming more or less popular. We can see if certain words are being used by younger people or older people. And we can even see if people are using grammar in different ways too.
Sounds all very interesting because this style of video represented with the evolution of language and how different speakers from different areas promote and use the language. The second part I want to show you now is where Giuseppe, again, remember what I said, this is an Italian-based product, will explore London and will have conversations and will use the key points that Olivia has raised in the previous video. We don't have enough time to show all those videos today, but just to give you an idea about the focus of changing language and why we know and feel it's important and why we chose to include this in the product. We also talked about different types of video. The presentation video sets up each and every unit, but we also have functional video. Now there's some tools we can use here, so I'm just going to let this play for a second.
Hi Joel. Listen, shall we meet up at Joe's Cafe tonight?
I can't tonight, I've got guitar.
Sorry, what?
So I'm sure you'll probably agree that the students that you have in your classes will react quite well to will react well to what they see on screen because they can relate to this immediately. But what tools can we use? Well, I'm going to talk as we go forward, so you will listen and I'll show you.
I can't tonight, I've got guitar.
To support.
Sorry, I don't understand.
standing.
Can you say that again?
Take that
I
away.
can't tonight, I've got guitar lessons.
We can also use
guitar lessons.
The
I play in a band.
conversation.
Guitar?
So we've got the conversation here where we can extract Grace or extract Joel from the communication so that we can hear and fill in the gaps should we want to. Here's evidence of that.
You can play guitar? Wow! How often do you have lessons?
So what I've done is I've muted Joel, but we can still see, even though it's gone in a less bold form, that Grace we can hear, but Joel we have now muted. We could do this. We can mute Grace also. So it's a useful tool. Maybe as an exercise we can expand and make this larger so it's better to visualize, or maybe we want to change the text, or maybe we simply want to hide it and watch it in the video in its normal form. But lots of these functional types of video which your students will relate to because they can connect to the people in the video. So we have a rich amount of resources. All the resources you need, the tests are here, the scripts are here, the maps are here, the word lists are here. Have and explore, poke around in this product because this is something for you to use as a resource that will be very, very useful for your classroom. Get that whiteboard up, get them interacting with you. It's a wonderful tool to use. So we talked about Cambridge, the hard copy. We've talked about what it does. We've talked about the key areas. We've talked about the digital. There's one thing I mentioned before, an extra piece of technology, which we'll look at now, because not all learning stays in the classroom, and maybe you want to take the learning outside the classroom mobile. And on that basis, we will be looking at the Talent app. Now, the Talent app is a web app. Inside the front cover of your book, you will have seen the address to navigate to. It is a web app, okay? It's something that is very, very simple to use. It's 3-click navigation. All of the video and all of the audio from Talent are located in this app. There's no need to scan or download. It's direct free access. Just add a bookmark to your phone or tablet and access this as and when you need to. It's a very, very nice touch to add. So, hard copy book, digital book, all the resources, and now an app as well. We've thought of everything, and we want you to use this book and get the best out of it. A great product, great teacher, fantastic lesson. So let's wrap up. What is Talent? It's 3 volumes, A2 to B2, focusing on changing language with Olivia Goodman, the focus on the corpus, the academic and life skills about growing and becoming more aware of the world around you with life skills in the academic learning leaning towards the IELTS, the focus of the Cambridge exams, 4 exams, preliminary, IGCSE, first and IELTS, all in one series of books, dedicated versions for DSA and BES Teacher resources, rich in content. You've got a teacher book with lots of ideas, lots of suggestions. You've got tests, you've got the online book, you've got audio, which is in hard state, you can download if you choose to do so. This is talent. We want you to enjoy it and we want you to use it. So that's talent for now, but don't go away, okay? Just before you go, Cambridge Inspire. Just a couple of slides about something new and exciting we've got that you will find interesting because it will help you. You as teachers want to grow and you want to get better, you want to give better lessons, and that means sometimes that you need to focus on your own professional development. What does that mean? Well, you need to learn too, you need to move forward. We all like to do it and it's very, very important. Cambridge Inspire, our site is up and running. It's not open to access just yet, but it will be from next week. It's a website where we have courses for professional development, anything between 5 and 150 hours. There's a list of courses, of online modules, courses that you as teachers can take, Cambridge courses, okay? The resources for learning, they may be focused on key areas of the classroom, but it's got insights into where we think CPD programs should go and where we can help you. The important thing here is that you can use your Carta del Docente, and this does also work towards credits for Sophia. Go to Sophia, find out what courses are there, discover formazioni.cambridgeelt.it, explore, because this will work towards credits for your CPD. It will be live for access from next week, where you can register and you can explore. The moment the site is up and running, you will find a timer that's counting down, but have a look at it. It's exciting. It's inspirational. We feel it is a fantastic product for you to utilize your own personal development. We never stop learning. So please explore this. On a final note, we've talked about talent. We've talked about Inspire. If you've got any questions, well, we come to you directly from Cambridge in Turin, which is our head office today. So from a central perspective, if you want to contact us, cupitaly@cambridge.org is where you need to come, okay? Talent itself has a dedicated website, as you can see, is www.cambridgeelt.it/talent, where you will find all of the information regarding talent. There's information for the teachers, information for the students, there's videos there, there's a quick walkthrough if you need any further assistance, and the new exciting development program for you as teachers. Explore this. This is great. You can find this at www.formazione.cambridgeelt.it. I'd like to thank you very much for listening to me today. I hope it's been useful. You've got talent, okay? All you need to do now is to use it, okay? So thank you very, very much for your time today. I've enjoyed spending my time with you, and thank you.